God is love. Say it out loud. God is love. That is a claim that we believe, but John just doesn't want it to be an abstract theological statement that's kind of offered into the ether. He pushes forward into the next question, which is this: how do we know? How do we know that God is love? The way in which John grounds the claim that God is love is by pointing to the person of Jesus. Now, this is basic teaching, but it is important for you to feel confident and grounded in the truth that is being offered. So this is 1 John 4, verses 9 and 10. If you have your Bible, I would encourage you to read along, or read it this afternoon, or read it on your phone. This is how we know that God is love, that God's love was revealed among us in this way. God sent his only Son into the world so that we might live through him. In this is love. So he wants to know, how do we know that God is love? We have seen Jesus. That's his claim. And he wants us to know it, so he says it a couple times. He reinforces it. In this is love, not that we have loved God, but that God has loved us and sent his Son to be the person that can deal with our stuff, that can deal with our mess, our brokenness, and our sin by being an atoning sacrifice for us. And it goes on in verse 11 and 12. Beloved, since God has loved us so much, we also ought to love one another. No one has seen God. If we love one another, God lives in us, and God's love is perfected in us. So how do we know that God is love? We know it because we have seen Jesus. So think about this. That's the gospel. Nothing begins with us. Everything begins with God. How do I know that God is love? You don't think about your circumstances. You don't think about your feelings, what's going on in you. Don't look at yourself. Look at Jesus. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Think about his life and his love, the way he welcomed people, the way he healed people, the way he fed people, the way that he walked with people, the way he died, the way he rose again. Look at Jesus if you want to see the love of God. And so that's the first bit that he offers. And then he comes to verse 16. So let's go forward to verse 16, 15 and 16. So the question, so he wants us to know, God is love. How do we know? Because of Jesus. And then he says this, and this is, to me, the hinge of the chapter. Verse 15 says, God abides in those who confess that Jesus is the Son of God, and they abide in God. So, we have come to know and believe the love that God has for us. It's a really powerful idea. The grammar of it talks about something in the past that we actually now know it continues into the present and into the future.